appreciating your taking time to be here with us this afternoon, and especially within a very short notice. And I am happy that today the setup is different. As you can see, we are doing from mcqueen County, and many times they say mcqueen is dry and there is no water, so they can see there is enough water behind us. However, His Excellency Governor Mike Sonko has been very disturbed by a statement that was presented by the Nairobi Metropolitan Services yesterday before the Senate, and particularly also utterances that were made by the Deputy Director General of the NMS. And he wishes to state as follows. Foremost, you find that it is actually lazy, escapist, insensitive, and completely irresponsible for the Nairobi Metropolitan Services to allege that the unfortunate incident that we all witnessed at the Pumwani Maternity Hospital of a mother who gave birth by the roadside can be attributed to their inability to access the county payroll. In the governor's view, that is lazy thinking, that is an excuse that is not acceptable in public service, and it is coming from individuals who have demonstrated commitment not to take responsibility out of their pursuit to perpetuate impunity, as it has become their trade. The NMS has continued to make illicit arrangements, and particularly made illicit arrangements to pay county staff seconded to them a few days ago. It is worthy to note that majority of the staff that were paid included dead people and retirees. This is because they have not followed due procedure to be able to establish the actual payroll and the legitimate workers of the Nairobi County government, and clearly the NMS is out to reintroduce the concept of ghost workers in Nairobi, which the governor had already eliminated. The Nairobi County Public Service Board remains the employer of all the seconded staff, and nothing stops the seconded staff from executing their duties as per their contracts of employment. All of you are aware that we have police officers who are seconded to State House. We have police officers seconded to VIPs in this country. We even have police officers who work with banks to provide security. And those police officers remain employees of the National Police Service. They are neither employees of State House, they are not employees of the VIPs with whom they work for, or any of the areas where they are usually deployed. So for the NMS to start alleging that their employees are unable to perform their duties because they don't have a payroll, I mean, it is the laziest excuse anybody can ever come up with. It is an indicator that these are individuals who are unable even to execute the mandate that they were given under the deed of transfer. They have no capacity to undertake to serve the people of Nairobi, and they have no business actually even being there in the first place, because the Nairobi City County government is established by Article 176 of the Constitution. The governor's office is established under Article 179 of the Constitution. So this idea of idlers who have made it impossible even to improve services delivery across Nairobi to start insinuating that they are unable to perform because the governor is not supporting them is unacceptable. And you remember a few days ago, the president urged the governor and Major Badi to work closely together. Unfortunately, Badi is not interested in working with the governor. Badi is emerging as the face of cartels in Nairobi, and it is clear on two things. He has embarked on the mission of reviving ghost workers in the city, and Badi has been talking about pending bills, because the cartels who used to supply nothing to City Hall, the cartels who used to supply air to City Hall, are the ones who suffered when the governor audited all the pending bills and reduced that amount from a whole 64 billion shillings to 11 billion shillings. So the cartels now have gone to Badi. They want money to be transferred to Badi so that they can be paid there, where Badi and his cronies will be making commissions. The governor is not going to allow that. Secondly, you remember yesterday, NMS alleged that Governor Sonko has refused to transfer funds to the NMS. NMS is fully aware that there is not one single law in this country that allows a county government to finance the operations of the office of the president where the NMS is domiciled. So what Badi is telling us, he is insisting that Governor Sonko needs to commit an illegality so that he can satisfy his narrow interests and those of the cartels that are pushing him. It is 6 months down the line since NMS was established. By this time, the national government should have established a framework, even if it is a piece of legislation, that can facilitate a county government to transfer funds to the national government. Currently, there is none. And all of you currently are aware that we have investigations ongoing that are targeting officials from the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Finance, the Control of Budget, because of the medical leasing, the medical equipment leasing scheme. Currently, we have individuals who are answering questions to investigators, including the EACC, because they transferred monies that were meant for the counties, monies appropriated under CARA, to the national government. So here we are. Badi is saying that Governor Sonko is refusing to give him money. Is the governor supposed to send the money to his M-Pesa account? Or where exactly is the money supposed to go? Right now, we don't even know whether NMS operates any bank accounts. We don't even know who the signatories to those bank accounts are. And we don't even know where the money they are currently operating with comes from. So when they start insinuating that they want the county just to transfer money to them, they need also to come with the backing of the law and clearly state that now we have established a framework whereby we are going to spend county money without offending the constitution or even offending any law. But as it stands, it is clear that they want to continue perpetuating impunity, which ultimately will fall back on the governor. All of you will agree Article 187(2)(b) of the Constitution clearly states that the responsibility of all the transferred functions shall remain with the government that transferred those functions. So instead of these sideshows that Badi and the NMS are treating Nairobians to and Kenyans to at large, they need to be telling us what they have been doing, apart from the few colored pavements that they put on Kenyatta Avenue in the CBD, and now they are pretending that they are working. Every day in the office of the governor, we are receiving complaints about garbage piling up across parts of the city. For the first time since Governor Sonko came into office, we saw the lethargy that was there before he came into office creeping back into our healthcare system. That is why we had healthcare workers refusing to attend to a pregnant mother, a mother in labor, who was stranded outside the gates of that particular facility just because they are not willing to serve the public. Those are administrative issues that do not have anything to do with the payroll. If you all remember, since Governor Sonko came into office, employees of the Nairobi County government have been receiving their salaries on time every month. Until NMS came in, created the confusion. The National Treasury has been deliberately refusing to release funds to the Nairobi County government without any justification. As we are speaking today, we still have employees of the county government who have not been paid their August salaries. Yet now we are at the end of September. So now the county owes them 2 months' salaries. For the first time since Governor Sonko came into office, you saw health workers going on strike because the Treasury has been frustrating the county government. So it is really reckless for the NMS to start alluding that the governor is not doing his bit. Yet the governor is bound by the law. Let them come with a piece of legislation like this and clearly outlining how a county government is supposed to finance operations in the office of the president where the NMS is domiciled. And you can trust me, Governor Sonko will be able to transfer those funds by tomorrow morning. As we are speaking today, the Nairobi County government has received letters from the Auditor General and from the Ministry of Health. 294 million shillings was allocated to the Nairobi County government for COVID-19 to help the county manage the COVID-19 situation. As we are speaking today, the NMS has refused to provide an account of how they utilize those funds. So we have a case here. These guys are running figures, telling people about Danida and all that. And the governor is fully aware of not only the provisions of the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act, but also the Public Finance Management Act, and more importantly, the regulations that exist in the management of donor funds. Up to 2019, Nairobi was actually ranked the top in terms of the utilization of Danida funds. So the governor is not going to transfer money that is that has a clear utilization procedure just to Badi's personal account or whichever account he wants to entertain him. This money must be transferred procedurally. This money must be utilized within the confines of the law, and clear accountability systems must be in place in terms of how the money is going to be utilized. Even if it is a special purpose account, there are procedures of how government bank accounts are opened, closed, managed, or even how payments are made. So you don't expect now Badi through a statement, a 2-page statement to the Senate, then by tomorrow money is just wired to his personal accounts. So Badi is clearly unable to deliver on his mandate. He is actually becoming an embarrassment to the president, because the president was hoping that Badi can provide support not only to the governor but to the county government, so that we can have better and improved services in Nairobi. As you are all aware, Nairobi is really constrained in terms of budgetary allocations. Out of the 15 billion shillings that Nairobi is meant to receive this year, about 14 billion shillings in a year goes to payment of salaries and employee benefits. So that leaves the county really constrained. But despite those challenges, Governor Sonko has been able to raise his investment development allocation from initially 2.1 billion shillings when he came into office in 2017 up to 8 billion shillings the financial year that ended in June 2020. So this idea of trying to paint Governor Sonko's administration as a failure for purposes of covering their laziness and their incompetence and their ineptitude is not going to be accepted. Let NMS do the work that they were given. They are no longer even doing the pavements. They need to do more. There is still traffic congestion across Nairobi. Those are the issues that Nairobians want to be listening from them. What they are doing about traffic management, what they are doing about improving the capacity to deliver water to Nairobi residents, what they are doing to improve on the management of waste from collection up to disposal. But these sideshows that they have been entertaining us, oh, Mara payroll, oh, Mara we don't have pending bills, Mara we don't have contracts. Those are sideshows because they have nothing to do with their inability to deliver services. They are clearly demonstrating their incompetence, and Nairobians now are getting tired of that kind of sideshows. If they are unable to deliver on their mandate, let Badi write to the president and tell him that he's unable to do the work that he was given, and then the functions can revert to the county government. They were all functional. As all of you are aware, you saw yesterday demonstrations at the Kenyatta National Hospital. These ones have been perennial since 2013. So we cannot accept the narrative they have been trying to paint that Governor Sonko was not able to manage the healthcare docket. Since 2017, you have never seen healthcare workers going on strike in Nairobi. So those are some of the things, especially I want to challenge you people, even in the media, to start asking the hard questions. Let these guys provide answers, not the kind of cover-up that we are seeing over their laziness. So I think if you take time to read the deed of transfer, the deed says clearly that the national government shall provide a framework to facilitate the operations of, or the operationalization of the transferred functions. At the same time, the deed of transfer says clearly that funds shall be availed from the county government and the national government. 6 months down the line, there is no framework that allows a county government to transfer funds to the national government. So it is not about us or Nairobi County to expect where NMS is going to get their money. It is the business of the national government to create that framework even if it requires the establishment of a law, so that the transactions can be legitimate. What we currently have and the blackmail that the National Treasury has been deploying will amount to problems not only to the governor, but even to the entire finance department at the county government. If today Governor Sonko transfers even 1 shilling to the NMS, that is an automatic audit query, and that is an automatic problem in the future. That amounts to abuse of office. So what we are looking at is these sideshows that they have been treating Nairobians to for the last 6 months. By this time, I want to believe if the Attorney General and the National Treasury had presented a piece of legislation to Parliament, by this time we would have a law in place that would allow the Nairobi County government to finance the operations of the NMS. So the National Treasury should also stop blackmailing the county government in the sense of refusing to disburse the regular allocations, the monthly allocations to the county government, just because the county government is unable to finance NMS. The Treasury has that responsibility. Let them come to the county government with a clear framework, that is a law, showing how monies will be transferred. And I can assure you, by tomorrow morning, NMS will have the money that they deserve. Because the governor on his part has done his part. He already delivered a budget allocating clearly funds to the NMS. That budget was already passed. That budget was already approved by him. He signed it. Now it was gazetted. What we are lacking is how do we transfer this money? This is not Governor Sonko's money. This is not Badi's money. This is public money. And if you read from Article 201 of the Constitution, it is extremely clear in terms of the utilization of public finance. So let them stop treating Nairobians to these sideshows. Let us focus on really. I wouldn't really call it conflict. I would call it failure, deliberate failure by some individuals to understand the law and what is expected of them. Because when Badi keeps yapping all over that Governor Sonko has refused to finance NMS, Governor Sonko has refused to do this, he does not cite any law. Ask them. Listen to all their statements when they're issuing statements. They never even cite one single law in this country. So this is not a personal. This is not a personal affair, or this is not an engagement between two buddies. This is an engagement between a government and a government. Governments are established by the law. Listen to them. Even yesterday when they were talking in the Senate, they will never cite any single law, because they have been the face of impunity and they believe that they can operate and do whatever it is that they want without being accountable to the law. And that is what Governor Sonko has refused. Governor Sonko just wants the law to be followed, and everybody will be able to execute their duties without any challenges, and Nairobians will be able to enjoy better services.